about the shooting at I-20 Windsor Road, did you look at any social media accounts?
I did the next day,
Why were you looking at social media?
just in conjunction with The Wire. We were always monitoring what was going on, just to be abreast of anything we may hear, just so we were aware of what was going on, so we can understand the context of things we were hearing.
And as you were observing social media, did you see anything of note to you? As you were perusing social media the next day after the March 14th killing of Mr. Shamel Drinks?
I did.
What if anything, did you find?
I saw several posts of a gentleman that matched the photo of what I saw of Shamel Drinks at the crime scene being made.
Okay. And when you say was being made, who was it being made by?
Members of YFN.
And about how many posts did you see when you were just kind of viewing and observing?
There were numerous posts. I don't think I could put a number on it.
And when you saw those posts, did you ever capture those posts?
I began capturing them just in case they were needed.
You said you captured just in case they were needed.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to approach you.
So she's been on the stand for nearly half the day, guys. Nothing really notable. With the end of the day approaching, wondering if the state will rest today.
Permission to approach, Your Honor. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Stacey did at 465 BV, 467 BV, and 468 BV. Tell me if you recognize 465, 467, and 468.
I do.
And how do you recognize 465, 467, and 468 BV?
These are three of the several social media posts that I captured following the death of Mr. Drinks.
And are those three just some of the examples of what you were seeing being posted on the day after Mr. Drinks passed away?
Yes.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the social media accounts that you observed and that you screenshotted back in March of 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 465, 467, and 468 BV into evidence. Permission to publish. Now showing you what's been admitted at 465 BV, is that Mr. Drinks?
It is.
And who is the person posting this picture?
That is a gentleman that goes by the name Kelvin Watts or Shell Kill.
Okay. And were you familiar with Shell Kill? Okay. And how were you familiar with Shell Kill?
From past investigations involving both of these groups.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you 467 BV. Who is the person? Is that also Mr. Drinks?
It is.
And who is posting that? Who made the post?
It's made by 44 Stevo, which I know to be Steven Johnson.
Okay, and I apologize. Going back to 465, what was Shell Kell's Instagram handle?
It's Shellkel _ Nutlife.
All right. Now I'm sorry, back to 467 BV. 44 Steve-O, what's his given name?
Stephen Johnson.
All right. And was he associated with YFN?
Yes.
All right. And next is 468 BV.
That-
Who made the post?
The username is going to be YFN Fat 14. That's going to be Sabian Cluster.
And is that the Sabian cluster that we talked about a few moments ago with the back and forth shooting?
It is.
All right. And what was that? What the post say?
I don't feel right putting that behind your name, Nut, with the broken heart.
Once you started seeing these posts and examples of these posts, what if did you do? Did you assist at all with this investigation at that time on March 15th?
I didn't, because when you're the affiant of a wire, it's a lot of things you have to do. You have to manage schedules and people in the room and review all the calls. So I was kind of sidetracked. So I was capturing these, working in the wire room, and then I went home to get some sleep.
Now I'm going to take you to March 16th, 2022. Did you have the occasion to respond to a shooting at 2830 Waters Road?
I did.
And how did you get involved with responding to the shooting at 2830 Waters Road?
One of my partners, either Investigator Dabney or Investigator Flores, called and let me know that there was a shooting at the location.
And let me ask you this. Back in 2022, where were you working?
The Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
And was that a common practice that members of the APD gang unit would reach out to you if there was a shooting that they were responding to?
If it was gang related and something that we had been working on, absolutely. I talked to them daily.
And did you respond to that location?
I did.
Sitting here today, do you recall what time you responded to that location?
I want to say I made it out there probably around 2 a.m. I
Court-
believe.
You said about 2 a.m.?
Around 2 a.m. I believe.
Court indulgence for 1 minute. Once you got to the house, what, if anything, did you do?
I met with my partner, Investigator Flores, and I spoke with the officers on scene, and they said they had several victims that were separated amongst different cars on scene while they were still sorting out what was going on. And I got the names of the people that were present.
Okay. And were you familiar with any of the individuals who were present?
Yes,
Okay. Who did you know?
I knew Mr. Garlington, of course, because he was one of my wiretap targets that we had running. And I knew Mr. Shannon Stillwell. I know Mr. Stillwell, I think goes by Jackson also.
Okay. And how long have you known Mr. Garlington?
Probably say since 2014, if not longer.
And how long had you known Mr. Jackson?
2013 or 2012.
All right. When you went out there, did you speak with Mr. Garlington or Mr. Jackson?
I spoke with both.
And were either of them able to provide you any information about what had occurred at their home that night?
Thank you, Terica, for the memberships. Looks like they are approaching. I'm gonna skip that in a second. If you guys have not checked out Terica, the one Lo-Fi, this is a YouTube creator with Lo-Fi beats, just trying to get her watch hours up. Check her out if you're listening to music, if you are doing chores around the house, things like that. I always listen to her channel personally for that reason. I do need a hot toddy. I need something. I have been on soups and teas all day. We are on ginger ale now. All right, let's skip ahead, guys, because we've got a ton of TiVo time.
Provide you any information regarding the shooting that had occurred that night?
Not anything of substance, really.
was he able to give you any description of what happened that night?
If I remember correctly, he just said, I think when he arrived at the location, people just started shooting, but he didn't know what had happened or why.
And while you met with him, when you got to the scene, were there cars in the driveway?
Yes.
And was he able to identify a car that he was driving?
Yes.
And what kind of car was it?
He said a white Audi.
And did he point out that Audi to you?
He pointed it out. I think he may have said like that one over there. And I looked and there was one closest to the street. And there were cars parked in the yard on the right side of the house. And there was a white Audi that was like an Audi sedan closest to the street. There was an Audi SUV and an Audi sedan, and it was the sedan that was parked closer to the street.
And did you ever take pictures of that? Or you were investigator Flores take pictures of that Audi?
One of us did, yes.
And did you take pictures of Mr. Garlington?
Yes.
And what about Mr. Stillwell?
One of us did, yes.
Were you familiar with the individual by the name of Miles Farley?
I had seen him, but I'd never interacted with him before.
Had you seen social media accounts for him?
Yeah, social media accounts, music videos. I'd seen him around with the guys.
Was he present on that morning of March 16, 2022?
He was.
And did you take pictures of him?
One of us, I think Investigator Flores may have.
Now, when you met with or spoke to Mr. Jackson, were they victims of the shooting?
Yes.
At that time, when you met or spoke with Mr. Jackson, Mr. Garlington, did you have any knowledge of who the suspects were in the March 14th murder?
No.
Had you on March 16th talked to Investigator Hogan about his homicide?
No.
Excuse me, was Investigator Hogan the lead detective on the homicide?
Yes.
Of Samel Drinks. When you spoke with Mr. Arlington and Mr. Jackson on March 16th, had you seen any surveillance video from the homicide on March 14th, 2022?
No.
When you met with or spoke with Mr. Jackson, did you have any knowledge of a suspect vehicle as related to that March 14th, 2022 homicide?
No. Other than the victim, I had no knowledge of the circumstances or anything with the investigation.
Did you eventually leave
Thank you,
the
Trin.
location at 2830 Waters Road?
I did.
You said this is about 2:00 in the morning.
Somewhere around there.
Did you at some point in time go to Atlanta Police Department on March 16, 2022?
Yes.
What was your purpose of going to the Atlanta Police Department?
I had to return to check on the wire. I got a few hours of sleep, maybe a couple hours of sleep, but I could. I returned to check on the wire room and also stopped by to see Detective Kevin Leonpacker. Stopped by his office to talk to him for a minute.
And would you work with Detective Leonpacker with your investigation?
All the time.
And just as a side note, what types of things would you ask Detective Leonpacker to do with your cases that you were working on?
I would bounce investigative ideas off him sometimes with cases that I had, but also most importantly, if throughout my investigations, I would obtain cell phones through search warrants and things like that, or in evidence, I would bring them to him with a search warrant for him to conduct a forensic extraction of the phones for me.
Now, going back to March 16, did you make it to APD?
Yes.
Okay. When you got there, did you make it to Kevin Leonpacker's desk where he sits?
Yes.
Are there investigators that sit close to him in the office?
Yes.
Is Detective Hogan one of those investigators?
It's Detective Leonpacker, empty cubicle, Detective Hogan.
Once you went to go speak with Detective Leonpacker on March 16, 2022, did you see Detective Hogan?
I did. On my way to his desk, I passed Hogan.
And what happened once you passed him What happened?
When I walked past Hogan's desk, I said, "Hey, Hogan." I said, "Your victim," I said, "is being posted by some of the YFN guys. Just checking to see what you got. What do you got? Like, what's going on?" And then he said, "Well, I got some surveillance video and some people, but I don't know. Not much else."
He said he didn't have much else.
Yeah, he just
At that point in time,
Kind of
did he
like
show
this
you the surveillance
case.
video?
Yeah, I don't have much else.
Yeah, I said, "Well, show me what you got. Let me see what you got." And he's pulled. I talked to Kevin for a second. He said, "Come on over," and I looked at the video that he had.
And what video did you look at?
It was video from a gas station that I recognized to be at Fulton and Windsor.
And what did you see on the surveillance video?
He showed me some individuals that he had identified as his suspects.
Okay. And when you saw the video, what, if anything, did you do?
I immediately recognized Mr. Stillwell from my interaction with him the night before because he was wearing the same clothes. And I recognized Mr. Farley on the video.
And you said the night before, were you at the office on March 16th as well?
Sorry, it was the same day. It was 2 a.m., sleep for a few hours, went to the office and met with them. So it was the same day.
And when you watched the surveillance video, was this surveillance video from March 14th, 2022?
Yes,
And you had just, not just, but earlier that morning had seen Mr. Jackson or Stillwell Jackson in the same clothes that you saw him in on the video.
correct.
And then you said you also recognized Miles Farley on the video.
Correct.
Once you recognized both Mr. Farley and Mr. Stillwell, what, if anything, did you do?
There was a third individual in the video that I knew to associate with him, but I didn't know his name. So I told investigator Hogan he may want to get with somebody else to get a name on that person. And then he showed me the vehicle associated with his case.
And did he show you the vehicle from the surveillance video or something else?
I believe it was a surveillance video.
And what, if anything, did you do when you saw the vehicle, his suspect vehicle?
I recognized it as the white Audi with the Maryland tags from the home at Waters Road that I'd seen hours prior.
Now, you said that you did not recognize the third individual in the surveillance video, and you directed Hogan to speak with someone else. Did you direct him to speak with anyone specifically?
Well, I recognized him by face. Just a name, I didn't have a name. So I think Investigator Belknap was either in the homicide office or he was upstairs, and I called either him to come to the desk or come downstairs to help Hogan.
And let me ask you this. I want to go back to March 16, 2022. When you spoke with Mr. Jackson about what happened that night, how did the conversation come up about what vehicle was his? Do you recall?
I believe that was prompted by when he said I just got here and they started shooting or something like that. I just got here and they started shooting, or I pulled up and they started shooting. So I said, "Well, what vehicle were you in?" I think that's what prompted that question.
And when you spoke with Mr. Jackson on March 16th, did he ever speak with you about where he was in the days prior to you seeing him on Waters Road?
No.
While you were meeting with, or not meeting with, but speaking with Mr. Jackson, did you ever speak with him about the homicide that had occurred on March
Yes,
16th
last
at
witness, and they're
I-28?
taking forever with her.
No.
Now, going back to later in the day when you were at APD, at any point after speaking with Hogan, did you take any steps to continue assisting him in his investigation?
I went upstairs and reviewed the wiretap data for that time.
And when you say that time, what time are you referencing?
The time that would encompass his homicide taking place.
And did you find any calls around the time of when the homicide took place?
I did.
and we'll come back to that. Once you went upstairs and reviewed and went to the wiretap room and kind of reviewed those calls, what, if anything, did you do next?
I think I just continued to let him know that I was available if he needed anything from our end, but
Did you ever come to take out a search warrant for the home at 2830 Waters Road?
oh, yes, when I was reviewing the calls, now that would be reviewing the calls for the night before, when I responded out at 2 a.m., I began to review those calls from that incident, and learned some information that led me to obtain a Fulton County search warrant for the location at Waters Road.
And so let me understand clearly, you heard some information on the wiretap.
Correct.
And was that information on the wiretap from March 16th?
Correct. The time that we responded out there and I encountered Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell.
And based upon what you heard on the wiretap, you then went and applied for a search warrant at Waters Road.
Correct.
Now, let me ask you this. When you got on the scene at Waters Road, did you go inside of the house on March 16th?
I may have peeked inside the house. I can't remember, but I don't think we didn't search it or anything.
And was there any reason why you did not search the home on March 16th when you responded?
They were victims at that time. I didn't have probable cause in my eyes to obtain a search warrant for location.
All right. Now, were you able to obtain the search warrant to search the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes.
And did you all search the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes.
And did you have assistance from the Atlanta Police Department to execute that search warrant on March 17, 2022?
The gang unit in conjunction with the SWAT team, Detective Liam Packer came out to help. There's a bunch of people helping out.
Your Honor, permission to approach. You.
All right, so they're approaching the judge again. I'm going to skip through that. You guys have been asking a lot of excellent questions. Hilton is still with this witness on the stand right now. This is their last witness. Could end today, could end tomorrow. It's likely she'll probably drag her into tomorrow. And here's a prediction, trial prediction, because it always happens when the state is
We all think
done.
this would be a good time for a bathroom break. So let's take a restroom break.
So I'm gonna skip that.
We'll be back in a few.
So when the state is done resting or they rest their case, typically you'll see motions for mistrial right there too. So it's likely we're going to see one from Doug or jointly from Doug and Max, but they're going to likely say the state doesn't have sufficient evidence to prove that these two clients are guilty of these crimes. So we're waiting on that. I think that's going to be a little bit of an explosive moment. We'll see if she denies it or lets it rock. But knowing Whitaker, she's probably going to let it rock. Let's skip their bathroom break. They come back right around here. Right, lots of talking and smiles in the courtroom. I am sick. You guys are like, dang, your voice is raspy today. Just a little rasp.
So I think we left off that you went to Waters Road and you went to the search warrant.
Correct.
When you got to Waters Road on March 17, 2022, did it look the same way that it looked when? And
real quick, guys, as an update, Angela is confirmed to come into the show today at 6 p.m. So that's honestly why I'm not in bed right now. I did commit to you guys that she was going to be here. So we're going to keep that meeting. She will be here at 6 o'clock. She has her questions, and members, you will be able to ask her questions as well. For those that don't know, Angela D. Williams is the attorney that started this case with Little Rod. Little Rod did take a plea deal. He had one RICO count, and he took his plea deal, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So Angela is going to join us and talk a little bit about that. There's also his murder case that's up on appeal as well. Little Rod being one of the youngest defendants in this case, it is going to be interesting. So hang tight. We're going to watch the court proceedings all throughout the day. And then we will talk to Angela in about an hour and a half. So really looking forward to that one. But let's keep going.
When you were there on March 16th, 2022, around 12 a.m.?
You're talking about,
When you were at the house on March 16th, 2022.
yes,
When you went on March 17th, 2022, did the house look the same on March 17th than it did on March 16th?
I'm going to overrule that. I mean, go ahead. You can answer.
are you talking about before or after entry was made?
After influence.
Max's face right now.
It's not a particularly clear question. That may be the problem.
On March 16th, when you went to the house, did it have TVs and video surveillance systems inside? Did,
Are you talking about the interior?
yes, when you went on March 16th, did you see video surveillance inside of the house? On March 16th, when you responded and spoke to Mr. Jackson?
I watched body camera and I was able to see through the front.
Okay, okay.
Hang on.
When you saw the house, did you
Did she
Right.
go?
go inside the house?
But if the front, with the front door open, you could see from the front yard, there was a large monitor with
That's,
feeds running.
okay, so
And-
let me,
Did you personally observe?
Yes,
that?
Your Honor.
so let me go back. When you got to the house on March 16th, were you able to see inside of the home?
Yes, from the front, the door was open, yes. I could see
Okay.
into the house.
And when you saw inside of the house, were you able to see television and video surveillance systems?
Yes,
When you went on March 17th, 2022, and after the search warrant, y'all made entry into the home, was that same surveillance camera system still at the house? Was it still there?
it had been removed.
Okay. When you got there on March 17th, 2022, were all of the cars that were present on March 16th, 2022 at the location?
No, I believe 3 were left at the location.
And on March 17th, 2022, did Detective Liam Parker video the search warrant and the contents that were recovered from the search warrant?
Yes, to assist me, he helped with videoing it.
And were you present during the execution of that search warrant?
I was.
Now, as a part of your investigation, and let me ask you this, did you, between March 11th and March 17th, were you still observing and monitoring social media during this period of time?
I was.
And was that in conjunction with also listening to the wiretap?
Yes.
And why were you still observing and monitoring social media?
Because when you're in the midst of an investigation, you never know towards the end what may be relevant at a later time. So I was making sure to get the full picture of everything, better to have and not need, the need and not have. So I like to kind of make sure everything is together because like you might get to the end of an investigation and something that seems so small is huge. So I was making sure to capture as much as I could.
And when you were going on social media, were you going on individual public accounts?
Yes.
And during the course, I want to start with just initially, were you able to find social media posts of Shell Kell, his account?
Yes.
And did he have pictures of himself with Rayshawn Bennett or YFN Lucci?
Yes.
And on his account, did he also have pictures of himself with Donovan Thomas Jr.?
Yes.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 440 BV and 454 BV. Tell me if you recognize 440 BV and 454 BV.
I do.
How do you recognize 440 BV and 454 BV?
See, these are some of the posts that I collected during March of 2022.
And is that a fair, accurate depiction of posts made by Shell Kel _ Nutlife?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 440 BV and 454 BV into evidence.
Admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may.
And looking at 440 VV, there's a post date of December 1st, 2018. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, when did you capture the image?
Should have been sometime in March.
And who is depicted in the picture?
That is Kelvin Watts in the white T-shirt, and it's Mr. Rayshawn Bennett, who's shirtless.
And sitting here, do you know the area or where this picture is taken?
That appears to be the Trestle Tree Apartments.
And are you familiar with Trestle Tree Apartments?
I am.
And how are you familiar with Trestle Tree?
That's an area favored by the YFN criminal street gang.
Okay. Now looking at 454 BB. And looking at 454 VV, did you also capture this in March of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And who is in this picture?
That's Kelvin Watts in the camouflage jacket, and that's going to be Donovan Thomas with the varsity jacket on.
All right. And again, is this on Shell Kel's Instagram page?
Yes, this was on his story.
In the same way, did you also have the occasion to capture pictures with Darius Bigford as well as Christian McMain Miller with individuals associated with YSL?
Yes,
And did you capture those pictures as well?
I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 441 BV, 442 BV, 443 BV, and 451 BV. Take a moment, tell me
Sure.
if you recognize those images.
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize them?
These are also photos that I captured during March of 2022.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you captured while observing those public Instagram posts?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 441 VV, 442 VV, 443 VV, and 451 VV into evidence.
441 through 443, and then 451 BB.
Yes, Your Honor.
Those are admitted.
Thank you. And permission to publish.
You may.
Now, looking at 441 VV, What Instagram post, excuse me, what Instagram handle is this?
The username is going to be real1_FR.
And do you know who that Instagram account is associated with?
That account is going to belong to Darius Ford.
And when was this originally posted?
October 13th of 2021.
And again, did you screen grab this though in March of 2022?
I did.
Right. And who is, do you recognize anyone inside the picture?
The gentleman with the orange hat is going to be Darius Ford. And then the gentleman next to him in the white shirt is going to be Jeffrey Williams.
All right. Next, going to 442 VV. Is that posted again from Mr. Ford's account?
It is
And what is the date of this Instagram post?
February 17th of 2021.
And again, is that Mr. Williams depicted in this photo with Mr. Ford?
Yes.
All right. Looking at 443 VV. Are you familiar with this Instagram handle?
I am.
And what is the Instagram handle?
It's would normally say Ocean Drive Slim, but the C has been replaced with a 5.
And when is the original date of this post?
March 29th, 2019.
And are you familiar with the individual depicted in the post?
I am.
And who's depicted in the post?
Christian McMiller in the green hoodie, Jeffrey Williams in the yellow, and 21 Savage or Mr. Shaya Joseph is in the white hoodie.
Okay. And are there any just emojis on this photo?
There's a green snake and a dagger emoji in the caption, and it says 4L.
All right. Next, looking at 451 VV. And is this also another post by the account belonging to Mr. McMiller?
Yes.
And do you recognize any of the individuals inside of the picture?
I see Mr. McMiller in the blue hat with the orange hoodie. Looking at the back of Mr. Garlington with the blue hat with the white writing. I see Mr. Quantavious Greer. He also goes by Umfunk. And then I see Mr. Sumlin standing up with the white tank top with the white hoodie.
Now, while you were looking at social media, after the death of Mr. McMiller, Mr. Ford, did you see any social media accounts with anyone associated with YSL regarding the death of Mr. McMiller, Mr. Ford?
Yes, multiple accounts.
And did you screen grab those in the same way?
I did.
It's gonna be four. Permission to approach again, Your Honor?
You may.
Again. The witness, approach the witness.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 447 through 450 BB, then 452 to 453 BB, and then 463 BB. Take a moment and look at this.
Okay,
And do you recognize those images?
I do.
And how do you recognize them?
There are additional social media images I pulled during March of 2022.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you captured back in March of 2022?
They do.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 447 to 450 VV, 452 through 453 VV, and then 463 VV into evidence.
For 47 to 50, say them again for me.
Sure.
I was writing, but I think I got it wrong.
447 VV through 450 VV.
Yeah.
then 452 VV
Okay.
through 453 VV. And then last is going to be 463 VV.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
did get it wrong, so those are admitted.
And permission to publish.
You may.
Now, showing you what's been marked as 447 VV. Is this, whose Instagram post is this, excuse me?
That's going to be the account associated with Mr. Garlington.
And the picture in the account, does that appear to look similar to the location of where the picture that we just looked at was, the date, given the clothing, what Mr. McMiller is wearing?
It appears so.
And going to the next, 448 VV. Looking at 448 VV, are you familiar with the Instagram handle Bentley BZ4L?
I am.
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
That's the Instagram account associated with Christian Eppinger.
All right. And again, is this another post of Christian Eppinger, or a post of Christian Eppinger posting both? Is that Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford in that picture?
Correct.
All right. Going to 449 VV. Are you familiar with the Instagram handle OOG_Tunk?
I am.
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
That's a social media account associated with a gentleman named Antonio Sledge.
And what is depicted on the post that he posted?
Again, that will be Christian McMiller and Darius Ford.
Going to go to 450 VV. Is this another picture, excuse me, another image by
Thank you,
Um,
Penny G.
Mr. Garlington?
It is.
All right. Next, 452 VV. Are you familiar with the Instagram account OG.BOOL_?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that Instagram account?
That's the social media account associated with Shannon Stillwell.
And is this a post that was posted on that account?
It was.
And what does it say?
Just rest, Mac. I got you, man.
And are there emojis?
There are
What are the emojis?
a crying face, a broken heart, a bandaged chart, and the devil emoji.
All right. Next, going to 453 VV.
That is a post of Mr. Stillwell with Mr. Ford.
And is there an emoji on that post as well?
Yes, the bandage chart and the sad crying emoji.
All right. And the last 463 VV.
That's again a post from Mr. Stillwell's account.
And while we're getting that one to publish, and during this time, were you, again, listening to the wiretap in this kind of around March 11th of 2023? Excuse me, 2022.
I'm probably doing about 12 to 16 hours a day in the wire room.
And in preparation for trial, have you had opportunity to listen to some of those calls?
I have.
And now we have 463 VV. Is this a post from the account belonging to Mr. Jackson?
Yes,
Okay. And what does the post say?
I can hear Mac now still playing Goddamn Big. We let them suckers get us shit. Where the fuck boo at? I'm sorry. That's what TF means, in case y'all didn't know. Boo at, and then it says, damn Mac, I miss you. I miss your ass preaching when I be on the bullshit.
All right.
And boo would be a reference to Quentin Porter.
Now, going to some of the wiretaps that were, I want to direct you to March 11th, 2022 at 10:05 p.m. And is this, with the wiretap, what was the phone number? Do you recall now the phone number associated with Mr. Robinson? Or the last four digits?
I can't, I know Mr. Sumlin's ended in, I think 8711, and I just knew the other one was Mr. Arlington.
I'm gonna direct your attention to March 11th, 2022 at 10:05 p.m. from 27 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let me ask you this. Hold on. Excuse me. After Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford were killed, were there Instagram posts disrespecting both Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford?
There were several.
And did you capture those those Instagram posts that were being posted?
Yes,
And why did you capture those?
just because of how inflammatory they were. I knew that they were going to be important because they were very, very disrespectful and inflammatory.
And have you had the opportunity to look at some of those posts prior to your testimony today?
I have.
And with social media, if posts are inflammatory, in your experience as a gang investigator, does that flame any potential beef or anything that may occur?
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 456 VV, 457 VV, and 462 VV. Do you recognize those pictures?
I do.
How do you recognize them?
Two are going to be from like fake accounts that were made to troll people in the wake of their death. And one is from an individual that I know from working in Atlanta.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you grabbed, again, in March of 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 456 VV, 457 VV, and 462 VV into evidence.
Admitted.
Just wrap it up.
And permission to
Simone.
publish.
Just wrap it up.
Now, looking at this exhibit, is this one of the fake Instagram accounts that you were referencing?
That's one of the ones that we couldn't identify who it belonged to, but it was very, very vocal about the disrespect.
And what does the post say?
New op pack just came in.
And in your experience as a gang investor, have you heard the term op?
I have.
Okay. And what is your understanding of op?
It's short for opposition or rival.
And do you know, sitting here today, what day you screenshotted this particular post?
It would have been in the days immediately after the death of Mr. McMillan, and Mr. Ford.
And we're looking at a document with the screen grabs, help refresh your memory as to the dates of when you captured this post.
It would.
Mhm. And do you have a copy of this document here to help refresh your memory?
I do.
All right, if you would take that out, look at it, as soon as your memory's refreshed, just look up and let me know.
That would be March 11th, around 11:30 p.m.
And about what time did Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford pass away?
It was maybe several hours prior to that. So they got killed at 3 a.m. on March 11th, go through the day, and then that night at 11:30 p.m. this got posted.
We'll go to the next post. Now, looking at Stacey at 457 BV, are you familiar with the Instagram handle 1ABG _ Big Nick _?
Yes,
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
I'm familiar with this individual. His name is Nicholas Johnson.
And does he have a nickname?
Usually it's Fat Nick or Big Nick, depending on what he changes his handle to. But he's a YFN member.
And why was this, what, if any, significance did this post have?
This was also posted several hours after Mr. Ford and Mr. McMillan had been killed, and he posted a song on top of him, just moving around, saying, and the song was entitled "Slime and Chalk," which is referring to, like typically in the old crime scenes where they'd outline the body in chalk. So this was inflammatory in that nature. He's posting this kind of just making sure everybody saw it.
And when was this, when did you capture this post?
The capture time reads 3 hours ago. So if I can refer to the sheet just to get the posting time.
Yes.
It would post at 11:20 p.m. that day following the murders. So it means that it was captured at 11:20 p.m., which means 8:20 p.m. it was posted.
Go to the next exhibit. And while that's pulling up, have you ever heard of the term smoking an op pack?
I have.
Okay. What is your understanding when you've heard that terminology?
An op pack is a play on words, like when you talk about a pack aloud or like marijuana or drugs. So now when they come in and they'll say, we're smoking on this person that's dead. It's just another way of disrespecting the opposition when they get killed. So saying a new op pack just came in, they're smoking on these people. It's very, very common among gang language, especially when there's a murder that takes place.
And now looking at 462 VV, Joey _ Hurst 24, was that an actual page or was that a trolling page?
That was a page that was trolling pretty.
Sustained.
Okay. Were you familiar with that page?
I was not.
Okay. Were you familiar with anyone being associated with that page?
I was not.
Sitting here, Dave, do you recall what the picture that's in the caption, what that said?
With the picture itself?
No,
Or
not
the
the
profile
the
picture?
profile picture.
Thank you, Michael Love.
I can't see. It seems like a drawing or some of some sort.
And again, was this an example of some of the inflammatory posts that you were seeing that you captured?
Yes.
Now, I want to go back to the Whitehead call. Permission to publish.
You may.
Thank you, Cynthia. They're piling it all on. It's not effective. And you're right, jury is forgotten. Shout out to Siri gifting a membership. Thank you, Siri. If you got one, say thank you to Siri.
For the record, again, it's going to be 27 seconds and 3:38 seconds.
All right, we're coming to some audio here. Shout out to R. Rosen.
Chris name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that shit, that was crazy, boy.
Man, I was just going through what I'm calling when I had them posts. He told man, tell Corey, I said, welcome home. I told you that.
Yeah, that what I got there. That I'm like, man, that shit, that's just too crazy.
But that's a fool. Boy, I'm like, damn, boy.
They hit him more on this.
I don't know. I think he the one that just got shot in the head. I don't, like, everybody been said he had and died first. Like, that's what they were saying at first. They were just like, bro was in critical condition for a minute.
I heard
But
he got hit in the head.
Yeah, but Roger had and goddamn told me what happened to him. He had done DM me like, man, bro just died too. So we just turned on the video chat shit. But he was like, it came from, Roger said it came from Summer Hill, but Quay just said they got into it with when they was at Chit Chat, they got into it with them henchmen niggas.
Who nigga?
Man, I think them niggas a little whole lot rent them folk, man. You know,
they got
on phone man going back and forth, they gonna answer. Last
All I run.
Nah, not him, but like his little young nigga.
Oh yeah, I heard that little hits me shit.
Yeah, Quay say when B Slime just had the show, on phone B Slime them got down, rushed to the car to get the file, some shit they hadn't got into it.
Yeah, that's crazy right there.
My cousin just called me, so he know what he told me to pull up. He got down, he know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm finna pull up and got down, see what the hell going on.
So what the hell he was coming from the car?
Yeah, man, it went a little core, man.
Oh yeah, so I thought he went to traffic or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought, cause everybody going to traffic. I be telling that nigga let go to traffic. But I ain't even saying that to him last night. I seen him putting the clothes on.
I knew this morning up by 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
They like somebody got shot in the car. But they ain't really showing that.
yeah.
I get on Instagram by 6, 7, like maybe by 7, 8 of them somebody. I hear, damn, that way the war.
Hey, yeah. Man, I ain't know them, man. Them folk blowing my phone up.
You know what I said? Them folks them folks were on. Them folks, they ain't see none of them niggas in the car.
Nah,
Like,
man.
them two.
Yeah, it was just them two, I think. I don't know, but I ain't heard nothing, bro. I ain't called nobody.
Man, that nigga running, man. What the hell wrong with this nigga, man? That nigga walk so goddamn fast.
I ain't talking nobody but Ed B.
Oh, LB.
Yeah, you know he don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, LB just laying low.
Nah, he with his folk.
Okay. And the girl in charge is tripping, man. I called his phone, somebody, this ain't his number.
For real.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
man.
that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started playing at 3:37. Want to ask you 3 questions about that call before the next call. Were you familiar with Demekion Garlington's voice?
Yes,
Okay, and was Demekion Garlington one of the individuals on the phone call?
yes.
Oh my God,
During the call,
Sire.
you heard them talk about.
I've been calling you Siri, and your name is pronounced Sire. I'm so sorry. Life of a live streamer.
Umfunk. Is that the same Umfunk that we talked about earlier in the pictures?
Yes,
Did you hear them speak about Umfunk getting into it with the henchman?
yes,
Okay. Are you familiar with the henchman?
I am.
How?
I have worked some investigations and spoken in person with their leader of that gang.
Okay. And with the henchmen, do they have any alliances?
They do.
And what's one of their alliances?
YFN.
All right. Now, you heard them talk about they were coming from Lacora. Are you familiar with Lacora?
I am.
Okay. What is Lacora?
It's a nightclub lounge on Metropolitan Parkway here in Atlanta.
And through your investigation of working the Christian McMiller, Darius Ford homicide, are you familiar if there was an event at Lacora on the night before they passed away?
There was.
And based on your investigation, were Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford at that location prior to their death?
Yes.
Now, there came a point in the portion of the audio that we listened to where the sound went down. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes.
Okay, is that an example of the minimization that you were referencing earlier? That if it's something that isn't about criminal activity, it will be minimized and then you will pick the call back up?
Yes.
In listening to that call, do you know who Mr. Garson was speaking to?
Yes.
Okay, who?
It's a gentleman that goes by the name Dwoskin Wright. I know him as Watt.
You said
Watt, W-O-T.
that's his nickname?
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you familiar with Mr. Wright?
Early on in my career, I did a good bit of work on the 30 Deep Criminal Street Gang, and he's a member of that gang.
And did you hear them mention SB on this call?
Yes.
And are you familiar with that nickname?
Yes.
And who is that nickname associated with?
Mr. Shannon Stillwell.
I want to publish our next call, which is on March 12th, 22 at 12:49 p.m. from 00 to 1:12 p.m. I mean, 00 to 1:12 minutes.
All right, what are we doing? It's very quiet in the courtroom. Is it another recording?
Yo,
What the hell you got going on?
shit, you got up?
Hey, anybody asked, we went and looked like soon in the midnight. Anybody just said we went and looked for that motherfucker. We couldn't find it.
Okay.
Don't tell.
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
I'm saying, what
So you gonna come pick me up? Shit, that was going.
yeah. Yeah.
Next to my me, him, and Rod Lowe. I said, man, Rod Lowe ain't getting no coke.
Yeah.
I tried that shit yesterday with a nigga on goddamn no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to stop at 1:11 p.m. Again, is that Mr. Garlington on the call?
Yes.
Okay. And did you recognize the voice of who he is speaking to?
That would be Mr. Stillwell.
And in that call, the Mr. Stillwell said, don't tell anyone we went to go looking,
Yes.
or we went to go looking, don't tell anyone.
It sounds like that's kind of hard to hear, but that's what it appears to sound like.
Okay. And they mentioned on that call, did you hear the reference to Big Nick?
I did.
Right. And are you familiar with that name?
I am.
Is that the same Big Nick to your understanding, if Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell are talking, do you know which big they could be referencing?
They would be referencing Nicholas Carter.
Okay. How are you familiar with Nicholas Carter?
I know Nicholas Carter to be an older member of the gang associated with 2830 Waters Road.
And you said an older member of the gang?
Correct.
Which gang?
YSL.
And you said you know him to be associated with 2830 Waters Road.
Correct.
To your knowledge, how is he associated with 2830 Waters Road?
I remember him being arrested at that location during a narcotic search warrant back in 2014.
And again, he is different from Fat Nick, who we just talked about earlier, also who calls himself Big Nick, who's with YFN.
Correct.
Next, we're going to publish March 13th, 2022 at 1:23 a.m. from 4:40 into the call until the end.
Yeah, for real now, right? Bro, D, is you say about Matt Main for real?
Man, on DB on Saturday here, bro.
I know.
That's why I just had to come drink, bro.
That's why I said I ain't called you. Dad said, "G, okay?" I said, "I text. I ain't want to call him." He said, "Yeah, he ain't answer. I called him."
Yeah, that fucked up. That shit got me hurt, bro. I fucked with bro.
Yeah, that shit put me on. So I know dude said about that.
Hell yeah, man.
Damn, big puppy little shit too.
I know it, bro. Damn.
That shit crazy. That boy had said they had like 45 gun shells out there.
Huh? 45 gun
Yep.
shell?
Yeah.
Just know, Cash, we gonna get some get back. We gotta get.
D, you better show that down somewhere.
I am, but still, bro. I am gonna sit down. Listen, I'm gonna sit down, bro. But
Boy, you better sit your head down somewhere, baby.
I am, but bro, nigga think this shit a game out here playing.
Mm-mm.
For real, bro. Like, I already going through some shit before that. Like, it like all type of trying. They got run on my head, bro. Like, and I still just be going places. You see, I don't be worried about shit, bro. Cause I be prepared. I be prepared for shit. If a nigga pay with me, they know that shit ain't gonna be easy.
Oh, dude.
I just got to do a shootout early.
Why the fuck you get into a shootout, D?
Because it was a car looking strange. And don't say that gun there.
Why would you? Oh my god.
Because the car, they were 3 deep with hoods on, so I had to shoot. I don't know. On the day, it was the car. The day on Cleveland. On Cleveland, it was a car. I know it, bro. Yeah, you do.
D, you need to,
Yeah. Yeah, you right, bro. Yeah. That had them niggas follow me. That how they follow me from Kiku. Yeah, I would have home. Mm-hmm. That's what you doing up at 131. Yeah, phone. I didn't talk the phone. I talked to him. I thought I put the call. He just said, you know what we on every day. Hello? What you doing up at 131?
Right, we're going to pause it at 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the call. Do you know who Mr. Garland was speaking with?
Without seeing the phone number, it's hard to, or the name from the line sheet, it would be hard to tell.
Okay. Did you hear when Mr. Garland said on DB and then he kind of explained something?
Yes,
Okay. Are you familiar with or have you heard that initial DB?
I have.
Okay. And what do you understand or DB, those initials to mean?
They're referencing Derek Benning. He's one of their fellow gang members that was killed years ago.
And earlier when we talked about kind of the timeline after March 11th, there was a shooting on Cleveland Avenue. And you heard it on the wiretap. Was this the call that you were referencing?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was there any police report associated with any shots fired around March 12th, 2022?
Yes.
All right. I'm now going to publish March 13th, 2022 at 5:49 p.m. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think they died like right there on the scene. Matt Main, he was in critical condition, probably like for few hours. He hadn't got shot in the head. I think he was at brain dead or something. I don't know where, but wow, that shit, yeah, bro. Oh God, I don't know. They say the nigga Kill or Murder just made a little song that somebody sent me that. He just made the song. They sent me that. I don't know. They trying to act like they did it. Yeah. And got some more niggas claim that shit. And they don't even know them though, but they be okay.
Hey, who?
Be okay. The nigga who claim.
I'm going to pause at 3:10. Now, in that particular portion, did you hear Demikion Garlington speak of someone making a song?
Yes, Kel Omerta.
Say that again.
Kel Omerta.
And are you familiar with that name, Kello Murder?
I am.
How are you familiar with that name?
That is Markel Wright. He's a member of the PFK Criminal Street Gang.
And Markel, right, does PFK have any alliances?
They do.
And is YFN one of their alliances?
It is.
Now, in doing your work, we spoke earlier today about music and gang investigations. In your experience, have you found with gangs that there are times that gang members do music?
Yes.
And have you found in your experience that sometimes gang members use music to promote their gangs?
Yes, often.
And in here, when Mr. Garlington is saying, you know, what did you say his name was? Kello Murder?
Yes.
Okay, made a song. Was that something uncommon to you as a gang investigator of an opposition making a song about a potential death or bragging about a potential death?
No, they do it often.
And did you hear when Mr. Garlington said some other dudes might be claiming it as well?
Yes.
Did you see any social media posts throughout your investigation, while you were looking at social media, of different groups claiming to have done the murder of Mr. Ford and Mr. McMillan?
Not really. It was mostly YFN and then pages that were trolling, like pages that we were just popping up out of nowhere, trolling.
I want to next publish March 13th, 2022 at 6:41 p.m. From 00 to 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
Hello.
What's up? What's up, man?
What the hell going on?
Oh shit, I just got a phone G, baby.
It sounds like
Huh?
Woody.
What you talking about?
Oh shit, I was just, he was asking what happened.
What happened?
They saying different shit. Just different shit.
Which one makes sense to you?
Huh?
Which one makes sense to you?
You said which one what?
Makes sense to you?
Which one makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm tell the kid. I'm tell the kid. I don't want to, on these phone shit. They be recording, making
Nah,
make
you ain't
sense.
gotta say. You ain't gotta say much. You ain't gotta say much.
Yeah. I told him.
I just wanna know.
Yeah. I already know. I'm tell her. I'm tell her what they said. What the streets saying. Like they send it. They just send. Huh?
Which one? What you saying? Did you wait?
Nah, they keep sending different. They keep sending different pictures. They got now the nigga who claimed it, the nigga who out on Instagram claimed it. Don't nobody even know him. Yeah, he say he supposed to be PLK or some shit. I seen him on last night. I seen him on last night. We ain't even really just talk like that. Everybody was leaving. I had one out there with 21 now. Little shit had an all black party. I had that one out there. Like, I'm walking out, seeing phone at the door. I'm like, shit, what's going on? That shit, you know what? You know what we on? I'm like, I'm finna die. Yeah.
And it's ending right there. Were you familiar with the person that Mr. Garland was speaking to?
From the voice, it sounds like Kenneth Copeland.
And had you yourself had discussions or conversations with Mr. Copeland throughout the course of your career?
Multiple, yes.
Now, back in 2022, do you know if Mr. Copeland was incarcerated?
I believe he was.
Are you aware of the relationship between Mr. Copeland and Mr. Garlington?
Yes.
How are you aware of that relationship?
They were good friends.
And to your knowledge, in 2022, were they good friends?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. In 2015, were they good friends?
I believe so, yes.
And is Shannon Jackson a part of that friend group between Mr. Copeland, Mr. Garlington, and Mr. Jackson, to your knowledge?
Overruled.
Yes.
Now, between March 11th and March 14th, 2022, did you see any members or individuals associated or friends with Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford making posts to be in response to some of the offensive YSL posts.
Yes,
And did you capture those posts?
yes,
And have you had an opportunity to view those posts in preparation for your trial?
yes.
I mean, for your trial, for this trial. All right, permission to approach, Your Honor. I'm going to show you what's been marked as 464 VV, 455 VV, 446 VV, 475 VV, and 458 VV. Tell me if you recognize those. 464 VV, 445 VV, 446 VV, 475 VV, and 458 VV. Do you recognize those?
I do.
And how do you recognize those?
Those are some of the posts that were captured during March, or I know one was definitively March 2022. I'd need to refer to check the others.
And do
All
they
right,
appear to
chat,
be fair and
gotta
equally
run
picked?
something by you. Angela's gonna be here in about 40 minutes. So I am gonna increase the speed to 1.25. Just seeing some confirmation that there will not be court tomorrow. I find it incredibly unbelievable for her to finish with this witness right now. So it is likely that this is gonna continue on to Monday. Let's see how the end of the day proceedings go. There is a break that we will skip through, but I hope you guys don't mind. We're gonna do 1.25 because Angela's gonna be here in 40 minutes. And I wanna end this stream with talking to Angela so that way your girl can get some sleep tomorrow. We'll all come back on Monday, but let's do that.
Of the images that you captured in March of 2022.
Yes.
You're on this time, and I'll try to do it in order.
Thank you.
The state would like to admit 445 VV, 446 VV, 458 VV, 464 VV, and 475 VV.
Okay, I had thought I heard 454 at one point. That's not one of them.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, 446, 445, 446, 458, 464, 475.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's repetitive.
Thank you. And permission to publish.
Ma'am.
We're gonna start with 464 VV. And looking at your chart, will it refresh your memory as to when you screen grabbed this post?
The capture time was March 13th at 5:47 p.m. And the photo says 2 minutes prior to that.
And is this on Instagram? Is this what it's called an Instagram story?
Correct.
Okay. And our Instagram stories only in existence for 24 hours?
Correct. They're posted to your profile. They don't go to your main profile. They go to a separate section. They're up for 24 hours, or if you want to delete it before that. And with that post, you can actually take a look and see who's viewed the story.
And are you familiar with the Instagram handle?
I am.
And what is the Instagram handle?
Fortrite_the world. TV World, I'm sorry.
And who is your understanding of whose Instagram post that is?
Javon Fleetwood.
And is that the same Javon Fleetwood we spoke of earlier regarding the shooting in May of 2019?
Yes.
The same individual with the YSL tattoo on his face?
Yes.
What does the caption say?
F, middle finger emoji, being safe, you got to stay dangerous.
Now looking at 445 VV. Looking at 445 VV, who's the poster of the post, or what Instagram account posting it?
That would be the account associated with Shannon Jackson, or Shannon Stillwell.
And do you know what is the date of this post?
Is it okay to refer to the chart?
Yes.
The date would be March 9th at 9:48 p.m. But
And
it was
this-
captured 7 hours prior, so it would be like 2 in the afternoon.
Just speak up.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It was the capture date is March 9th at 9:48 p.m., but the post said 7 hours ago, so that would be around 2:48.
And,
March 9th.
and is that before Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford were killed?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at State's Exhibit 446 VV. And is that from that same account associated with Mr. Stillwell Jackson?
It is.
Okay, and what does the post say?
That racial expletive, y'all scared of me.
And is there an emoji?
The 100 emoji and like the strong, like it's for real. Like it's
And what is the date of that post?
March 9th at 9:48 p.m. It's captured 3 hours prior. So it was posted around 6:48 p.m.
And was that the same day as the post we just observed?
It was.
All right. Now I want to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 458 VV. And looking at State's Exhibit 458 VV, is that also posted on the same Instagram account associated with Mr. Stillwell? Mr. Stillwell,
Yes.
right? And what does the caption say?
Ain't gonna be the only one crying.
And when was the date and time of this post?
That was on March 11th, around 11:23 p.m.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
We always felt like our content was all about